Absolutely.
Here we go. It's episode 639, and this episode, WP Plugins A-Z, State of the Word 2024, and the chaos within. And we are here to talk to you all about it. WordPress. It's the most popular content management and website solution on the internet. And with over 80,000 plugins to choose from, how do you separate the junk from the gems? Join us for a weekly, unrehearsed conversation about the latest and greatest in WordPress plugins. This is WordPress Plugins from A to Z. Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you happen to be hiding out there on the globe today. Coming to you direct from the brewery overlooking beautiful southern Vancouver Island. I'm John Overall, and with me is the ever lovely
Sure, overall.
And we're coming to you from the past into the future as we do this pre-recorded show for Christmas Day or Christmas time. Somewhere around Christmas it gets released. And it's going to be loads of fun because not our usual show, folks, but you know it is holiday season. It's the year end. Everyone slows down. And well, we've got life, family, kids, grandkids, you know, all that sort of lovely stuff to deal with, including a dog who drives me absolutely batshit crazy sometimes.
And cats.
And cats. And with all that being said, I think I've said enough.
Thank you for sharing, John. Now get down from that soapbox.
You know, I'm surprised you actually used that today. I figured that with it being like the season of giving and love and acceptance, you wouldn't bother with that one.
Squirrel!
Okay, so today is episode 639, and we have called it WP Plugins A-Z, State of the Word 2024, and the chaos within. So we have no WordPress news this week because, well, like he said, we're coming from the past and into the future, so we have no clue what's going on by the time this airs. We're about a week out, so hopefully there's nothing too crazy.
Nah, probably won't be. It's even the people at WordPress take Christmas off.
I'm sure there's a Grinch somewhere who refuses.
Mm-hmm.
So today, our dear listeners, we are not doing the regular show. This is pre-recorded. And for those who have decided to tune in and listen, I hope you enjoy the show. Hopefully entertains you. Hopefully everyone out there is having a good time, whether you are hosting or you're visiting family. Remember to always bring a banana. You know why? Because if you pull a banana out of your pocket, that is just going to start all kinds of conversations. Some are going to be hilarious, some are crazy, some are awkward. But you know what? It is going to start a conversation and it will keep the whole night going. So bring a banana, keep it in your pocket, pull it out randomly.
That one's been running around for decades.
Oh, yeah. So a couple of reminders before we start the show today. Remember to dress warm if you live where there is snow before going out and destroying all family members with your amazing snowball chucking skills. And remember to let the hot chocolate cool down before gulping it so that no injury occurs to your person. And when imbibing grandma's eggnog, be sure to have a designated driver. Also, did you know that 40% or more alcohol kills basic germs? So because of this, I think you should always keep whiskey or vodka close at hand throughout the holidays to help you with your own health. It'll also help keep other people's health really well because you can continuously kill the germs. So, you know, there's nothing more important than your health. I recommend you keep whiskey or vodka on hand at all times.
And it opens up in interesting political discussions with your favorite aunt or uncle.
That too. So that's it for reminders. If I missed anything important, be sure to let me know and I'll add it to next year's reminders for Christmas.
Yes.
Who's our featured artist this week?
It's Grok, and unfortunately he's broken, so we're getting really bland art from him.
I'm really sad about this. They lobotomized him.
I know. It's really kind of
They
sad.
didn't just like give him an update. They took something from him. I noticed it last night. It's like I know this sounds weird, but I've actually gotten to know Grok the way that he was over the last few months. He is one of my main coworkers because he's essentially the rubber ducky. I don't know if you've heard about the coder with the rubber ducky theory.
No, I've never heard that one.
Okay. I'd never heard of it until my daughter told me about it. But the rubber ducky theory is essentially a coder fella who He has to run everything by the rubber ducky. Essentially, it comes down to he has nobody else who he can talk to who will understand him, so he talks to a rubber ducky.
Okay.
He uses the rubber ducky as a soundboard.
Okay.
And that's one of the things I've been doing with Grok. He's become my rubber ducky. But trying to run anything by him, he's broken. There's nothing left to him. It's like I'm talking to ChatGPT. There is no personality there.
Yeah.
It's so broken.
That's the sad part is when I was dealing with this, it's like, oh my God, I'm dealing with ChatGPT. There's no personality. Where'd the personality go?
It actually makes me sad. I feel like he should be on bed rest and in a hospital.
Let's hook him up to some IVs.
No, man, he needs better RAM, better processors and RAM.
There has been a couple of things thrown out there that said that they were having problems with the server farm for him. So,
okay. Well, anyways, this is beautiful art done by the lobotomized Grok. Hopefully, we will get our Grok back eventually.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just seeing some of the other pictures, man. He put the fire in the middle of the living room floor.
Yeah, I asked him to make me an image last night based off a poem about a woman dancing around a fire. He kept putting her in the fire like she was a witch.
Well, maybe he thought she was a witch and she needed to be burned. All right, let's move on. This is a WordPress show, not a Grok show.
But he's so interesting.
He can be, but it's not why we're here.
Okay, I do have a WordPress tip that may or may not be a common tip for those out there who work from home. So, grandma's eggnog and other tasty drinks. So, if you know your job really well, then you can absolutely enjoy grandma's eggnog and other tasty drinks while working from home. You know, so long as you have a designated driver. And so long as you don't have to actually drive yourself, you know, you don't need to do anything much other than what you're used to doing at home in your chair. You can have any drink you want. And around this time of year, there's really not all that much to do. Even the spammers take the holidays off for the most part.
They do, man. The amount of spam I get drops dramatically on every holiday.
And for those of us for those of you that don't believe us, pay attention to your spam emails coming in between the 23rd of December and the 3rd of January.
Yeah, they drop off like nobody's business. It's nice.
Oh, yeah. So there's not even really spam you have to deal with between Christmas and New Year's. So when I say pick a designated driver, what I mean is make sure that there is someone who also knows this, who can deal with any crisis that may pop up so that you can go and imbibe.
Yep.
And take that time off. Go enjoy yourself. Have a bit to drink. Enjoy grandma's eggnog to the extreme. Let your business partner, whomever else, can pick up your slack know so that they know not to over imbibe themselves. And go enjoy yourself, because always being the designated driver yourself is exhausting. Let somebody else pick up the slack for a while. Take the holiday. Enjoy it. After all work and no play makes Johnny a dull boy.
Yes, it does.
It's time to donate to WP Plugins A-Z.
So for donations and support, I keep hearing echoing through the internet, how can you help? Or someone asking, how can I help out? Well, there are plenty of ways. Scratch our backs, we'll scratch yours. Do an interview, have us review your plugin, send us in something to read out for you. Donate some time or treasure over our way, and we'll make sure that you receive equal value in return. You can go and check out everything that can be done over at WP Plugins AtoZ.com and click on time, talent, or treasure in our main menu on the left-hand side, and you can read up what is available for you to do. If you are interested in reaching out to us, we do have a brick and mortar address, or you can reach out to us through the internet. Now time to enter in the past year and all the chaos within.
It seemed to fit here.
Totally. Kind of feel like I'm going down this one of those tube slides where you can't see where you're going. You just kind of come out into the water.
Yeah, you end up with this.
Glitch, glitch, glitch.
I don't think I've used all the things like this in a long time. All right. Well,
So,
you get this crazy wheel started and see where we go.
well, we've had a sort of crazy pastel colored whirlwind sort of past year, haven't we, though?
Oh,
With
it's been a wild ride with not only WordPress but everything else in life this year. This year has been a wild ride. What much more wild than I anticipated last year.
one of the things that's kind of gotten lost over the last year is the loss of Classic Press.
Yeah, was it last year that it disappeared?
Yeah, it was like beginning of last year.
Oh, okay.
Like that's when they made the official decision, at least so far as my memory recalls.
Yeah.
I would have to actually go look up dates to be sure. So if anybody out there knows different,
Well,
you're right.
they still
But
exist.
yeah, but it was about this time last year, I think, like after Christmas, that they decided they were going to fork out the version of WordPress that was
Oh,
beyond Classic Press.
no, that was 2 years ago.
Was that 2 years ago?
No, last year they did fork it out beyond WordPress, and
Yeah.
they started cleaning and changing things in it. So yeah, because they're version 2.3.1 now.
Yeah, exactly. So like they are officially no longer Classic Press. They are just an earlier version of WordPress, which
Yeah.
I know that Classic Press was an earlier version of WordPress, but they were separate and apart. They didn't do they weren't built the same as what WordPress is now. And now they're built the same as WordPress is now. There's like very little difference between the two so far as I can tell.
Classic Press and WordPress now? You mean Classic Press has got Gutenberg in it? No, it says without
No,
Gutenberg.
not Gutenberg. It is WordPress without Gutenberg is like the main difference. That's it.
Yeah. So they're still there. The problem is with it that I recalled is as WordPress advanced, more and more plugins were ceasing to function in Classic Press. And when I went and looked at their repository of plugins is still pretty small. So they don't have a large enough community to sustain them yet. They're still trying. They're still trying, though. I'll give them credit for continuing trying. But unfortunately, it's sad that they didn't quite make it. I really had high hopes for them. I was behind them big time for a while.
Yeah, but between the in-house bickering and the shortcuts, they're not lasting, and that's what I mean by the loss of Classic Press. And unfortunately, it's kind of been buried under all the other crazy that's been going on this last year.
Oh yeah, it would be. It would be.
And there is one thing that I actually really appreciate over this past year is the amount of dead plugins that have been removed. I mean, admittedly, there's been way more added than there have been removed.
Yeah.
But there's been a lot of plugins that were well known and very popular that were very dead, becoming a security risk that have been removed.
Yeah. And what's entertaining is in our next show where we've got more notes and stuff, I made comment about the number of plugins in WordPress. The repository only has 59,000. But if you listen to our intro, we talk about over 80,000. That's how many the repository had when that intro was created 7 years ago.
Yeah.
Because the intro hasn't changed in years and we need to update it badly. But I was trying to remember a number, but that's what the repository had. That didn't include all the other plugins out there. So they have removed over 30,000 plugins from the WordPress repository.
And it's actually been a very good thing because all the ones that they're removing are the dead, abandoned, becoming a security risk, spammy ones.
Oh, yeah. I have no problem with it. It's just it's interesting that it's shrinking because of the shrinkage of it. Anyway, let's continue on with other stuff because this is stuff for talking in the next show.
Oh, okay.
Because we're talking about the past year. We're not talking about what we see in the future.
Yeah, I'm just that's what I mean. Like over the last year, this is the first time that I've seen plugins removed.
Oh no, they've been removing them for the last several years.
Every other year, though, it's not been ones that are well known or that are breaking down. It's just it was like there was no pattern to it before.
Yeah, well, they were ones that were breaking down, but now they've been taking more and more of them out. The pattern has solidified itself. They were inconsistent. That's what it is. Okay. They were inconsistent, but they've become more consistent about what they're removing.
Okay, so there kind of was a pattern, but I just couldn't see it until this last year. Got it. Mm-hmm. Well, speaking of plugins, I actually brought my top 10 list, and I have 5 here written down.
Oh, you missed the part there talking about the chaos that has been created by Mullenweg and over the AFC thing. It's like you missed all the rest of your notes here. Or no, you skipped over part of your notes. That's what it was.
I skipped over it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna blame the chocolate whiskey. I'm not drunk or anything, but
we're only going to touch lightly on the chaos that Mullenweg has created, which there's way more in depth to it. And if you really want to find out about the WordPress drama, just go into X, Twitter, and type in WP drama, and you'll be endlessly supplied.
Oh yeah. Like a lot of the chaos that he's created also has to do with plugins, and the plugins there have been plugins that have been removed.
Yeah.
And it's just, there's a lot of stuff going on.
Well, the chaos he created, what it's done is it's changed the way it works. And we'll be talking about that more for the New Year's show. And that what the chaos is going to bring to the future. But by doing that just recently in the past, he has caused a lot of plugin developers to pull their plugin themselves from the WordPress repository. And it's causing chaos throughout the whole WordPress community. We'll be talking more about that in the next show, but it's not the end of WordPress. It's changing WordPress, and WordPress is changing, and in some ways more to the positive. In other ways, we're not sure yet, but we have a lot of theories on it as we go. And it's going to be interesting to see how it goes. And let's run with it, okay? All right, well, with that, now we can talk about your top plugins.
Well, I brought 5 that are my favorite, and the basic reason why.
Okay, well, let's hear them.
And they're no in real particular order here. I just wrote them down. So first one is copy and delete posts. I love this one. It makes life so much easier. You create a single post, which, let's face it, most of us add way more posts than we do pages. You do all the fiddly settings on the one post, and then from there you just hit duplicate. It duplicates it. You can change the name. It creates a slug from the new title name, and you go from there. It just makes it so much easier when you have to do a lot of post creation. And then another one is Easy Updates Manager. This one has the ability to stop everything on your site from auto updating, or even showing that it needs to be updated for some sites. Like we have a couple of older sites that we're just kind of letting be. And it creates a slug from the new title name, whoops.
What was that?
So yeah, I completely misread a different area. Easy Updates Manager, very, very good for keeping your site from auto updating and possibly breaking something or you're not paying attention.
Maybe you ought to cut back on the whiskey.
Hey, man. New plugins. This I originally found because I wanted to see the newly made plugins. This is actually called Cube Color New Plugins. And even when you put the name into WordPress, it's actually kind of hard to find. You gotta like go through the different pages before you finally find the Cube Color New Plugins.
This is common in the WordPress search function. I swear to God, I swear to God, they do it on purpose to bury plugins that would be very useful. Because once upon a time, this function was extremely good. All you had to do is type in a few letters and you had the plugin you wanted right at the top.
Yep.
But not anymore. And I feel like they've done that to push forward the plugins they want people to use versus the ones that other people want to use. And what I did find that helps circumvent it is add the author's name to it if you know it.
Oh, hey, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
So one of the things I really like about this plugin is that I guess this is how the setup used to be before I came into the scene. With this plugin, you get new, featured, popular, recommended, favorite, beta testing, and for Elementor.
Well, yeah, okay. So it's adding back the tabs for those, is it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah. I remember that went away about 7 years ago.
I love this because I love the tabs. They make my life so much easier. And the for Elementor, that one's new, but really useful.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I like that. I like that. I may have to start using it occasionally.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah.
So another one is post types order. So this is another one of those plugins just saves so much time and hassle. Like the post you just made yesterday, client wants it to be absolutely last, no problem. You can just go in and organize this that the one that was made yesterday is last in line. and the very first post they ever made, they want that one to show up as though it's the most recent post. No problem. Go in. It's a drag and drop. You move it to where you want, and it's all good.
Excellent.
I love that one. And then Rank Math. So Rank Math is an absolutely amazing SEO plugin. And I really mostly we've been using Yoast, an all-in-one SEO plugin, because it has functions in it that are very useful. But I have personally found that they're not very useful for the actual SEO. Rank Math I've found very useful for actual SEO.
Yeah, it's definitely way better. I discovered it a couple of years ago, and I started using it part-time, and then I'd fall back to Yoast because it was easier to initially set up, and it was more understandable for people. All-in-one SEO I've really not liked since the beginning, years ago when all-in-one SEO was created, because all-in-one SEO and Yoast were created about the same time. And Yoast managed to move ahead and do way better job than all-in-one SEO. And recently we've had some experiences with a client that uses all-in-one SEO. We're finding it's doing some weird shit and we haven't figured out why. So there are some problems with all-in-one. And Yoast is not bad, but Rank Math gives you way more control and better information for your SEO.
I think maybe part of the reason is that the SEO plugins, most of them are trying to do too much. It's like they're turning themselves into a multi-tool.
Yeah, well, it's not just doing too much. I feel like what they're trying to do is they're trying to cater to the people that know nothing about SEO, and they want a plugin that will just handle it all for them and do it. But the plugin doesn't do it right.
Yeah, trying to do too much.
Yeah.
And also, like, something else I noticed is that those two in particular, since I have experience with them, the way they recommend you do your SEO is so robotic that the Google bots will actually ding you on your SEO score if you follow every single thing that they tell you to do.
Yes.
Because all of a sudden you're going to be charged with keyword stuffing, and you'll be accused of getting an AI to do all of your content work for you, and it's not good. It teaches you really bad habits.
Mm-hmm. That's by trying to get the green light that they tell you to get, right?
Yeah.
And that's in Rank Math does that too?
Rank Math does not tell you to do all this. Like, if you take, one of the things I've done is I have actually tested out Yoast and Rank Math.
Yeah.
And with Yoast, like, I'll have a really bad score. I'll be down in the red for something. And then with Rank Math, all the same information, I'll be up in the 70s. And it's because Rank Math is looking at the human aspect, whereas Yoast is looking at all of the technical boxes you need to check off.
The machine aspect, which
yes,
which in the end, you don't want to do machine aspect. You need to do human aspect, which is something I've told people for 20 years since the creation of SEO around 2000.
For a while, doing the machine aspect would have boosted your SEO.
Oh, it did. I did it back in the early 2000s. You tweak to the machine and you got fucking high up there. But if you didn't write content, eventually the algorithms caught up to the fact that you needed content. And the algorithms are closer to focusing on the human aspect now.
A lot closer, because if you, like I said, if you go for the green lights that you're told to get, you're going to get dinged because it's too robotic.
Yeah.
So Rank Math is a much better plugin, in my opinion, to use. So those are my favorite 5.
Okay.
I do have a list of my favorite 10 down below.
Okay. Well, we'll cover your favorite 10. I didn't manage to get 5 in there. I only managed to get 3 because I forgot to do the other 2. But I do have a list of 10, so I'll look at my 10 and give you the other ones. So at any rate, the first one I've got is I put in every site that I build, and that is Gravity Forms. And the reason I use Gravity Forms is because it is a form plugin that provides everything you need and then some. Now, unfortunately, Gravity Forms is a premium plugin. It does cost money. And there is no free version of Gravity Forms. They've never had a free version. They've been premium since day one, which is why they're the #1 form plugin. They do everything and they do it well. And it allows you, with Gravity Forms, you can create forms that people can order and pay for your products with. You can create forms that have the things in there where people ask questions. What's it called? Questionnaires. You can create paged forms with additional information. You create forms so people can register for your site and your membership section. It's like there's no end to what Gravity Forms can do. Using Gravity Forms combined with a coder I know from Web 321 is that you can make Gravity Forms do amazing things that were just not thought of because Gravity Forms has so much amazing hooks in it. It's like an amazing plugin all the way around. So that's my number one that I stick in every site I go with. The second one that's automatically in every site I go with, and this started a few years ago for me because I build websites for clients, and then the client goes and adds a plugin or does something, and then they blame you for breaking it. And it's like, well, no, what did you do? I didn't do anything. Well, you couldn't prove they did anything. Well, I automatically put the WP activity log in there, and now it tracks everything that's done by every user that's logged in. And I can go in.
That's a really useful one to have.
And I can go into the log and say, oh, no, you were the one that updated this. It actually saved my ass a year ago when a client accused me of breaking their site after doing some work. I said, no, you broke it because you updated this plugin, which this plugin here broke everything when it updated. It wasn't my fault. It's like, well, what do you mean? I said, here's the log. The log shows you did it, not me. It's like, oh, it's like, see, now you're paying me to fix it. So it's like the point being is you want to be able to showcase it. And so I put this in every site. The moment the site is installed, this goes in. It tracks everything I do, tracks everything my clients do because they have separate logins for me. So you want to do this if you're building sites for clients. If it's just you in the site, it makes no difference. But if you have multiple people in the site, you want to track everything everyone is doing so you know who broke shit. The other one I put in every site because we build an Elementor is Elementor and Elementor Pro. Now, Elementor by itself is pretty good, and you can get away with building some really nice sites if you don't have Elementor Pro. But I highly recommend adding Elementor Pro because it extends it and allows you to do way more. So I use that because, one, I dislike Gutenberg to no end. And I also like to set up a website for people to be able to use the classic editor. And if they can use the classic editor to put their content in, it's more understandable, as I recently experienced with a client that we built a website for that was really insistent that it be Gutenberg and everything, but yet they hadn't used the modern version with Gutenberg in years. They have other websites, but are on Classic Editor, and they couldn't understand the site, and they needed Classic Editor installed so that they could actually do their work, do what they wanted to do. So you got to remember, there's a lot of people that Gutenberg just doesn't work with their brain. I'd say about 70% of them, and we'll be talking more about
I'm
that.
one of them.
We'll be talking more about that problem in the next show when Mullenweg, Matt, was challenged to build a new website using Gutenberg. That's a very entertaining thing. We'll be talking about that one later. The next show. So you got to wait a week for the next show because the shows are going to come out about a week apart this time. So those are my top 3 plugins. Out of the top 10 I've got, I do have Easy Updates Manager, which I put into all site because that also gets a log of who updates plugins. And the ability, if you got a plugin that's giving you grief, you can turn off all updates for it. And you can keep the plugin running until you can either find a replacement or the developers finally update it and it's safe to update.
Or, just let the site wander quietly off into the forest in the middle of the night.
There's that one there. The other one that I put in every website, if you allow comments, which very few websites do, but Anti-Spam Bee seems to do something else besides just block comments. I'm not sure what. But it's a very useful plugin for stopping spam on your website. That's all I've got for it.
Can talk about Black Hole for Bad Bots?
Well, okay, that'll be my 6th one. My 6th one will be Black Hole for Bad Bots, which is a way to banish bad bots to a black hole where they don't bother your website anymore.
Technically, it's your 5th one because I already talked about the Easy Updates Manager.
Oh, well, wine to you. Did you really? I didn't think you did. Oh,
that's because you're on the phone.
Oh, that's right. I was answering a call to your brother. Your other brother. Your other brother from a different mother. In fact, both your brothers are from different mothers. Or from a different mother. All right. Well, that's it there. I guess you can run down your list of top 10s, and we'll have this list available. And we got more coming in the new year. You know, with the launch of WP Pro A to Z, we'll be offering up a ebook on the best plugins that should always be installed on websites and other miscellaneous really cool things that are coming in the works for WP Plugins A-Z.com.
I'm actually quite looking forward to the New Year's show that we're going to record. It's going to be fun.
Well, the New Year's show will probably be a little bit longer than this one. This one's about half an hour now. So New Year's one will probably be a bit longer because we're going to go more in depth into what we see happening in the WordPress future.
The future is looking both exciting and bleak, both at once.
Well, yeah, but I think it's going to be more exciting than it is going to be bleak. I mean, there's a lot of things that need to get solved in the next couple of years. And they will get solved in the courts. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in the courts right now, but there's a lot of things that got to get solved.
So join us for our New Year's episode coming up next.
All right. Well, not next. It's coming up in a week.
It is the next episode.
Next episode. You said coming up next.
That doesn't work?
No, coming up next.
It's coming up as the next episode. So
yes,
next.
but coming up next implies that it's immediately after this show. It's not going to be aired for a week.
Does anything really happen immediately after unless you're binging a show?
Well, that's how everybody does now. Nobody understands waiting a week for the next episode of the show.
Oh, that's true. All right, well, join us next week.
All right, well, we'll have a little music carry us on out. Let's have our girl take us out of here, and we will talk to you on New Year's Day from the past.
Reminders for the show. All show notes can be found at wppluginsaToZ.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the newsletter for more useful information delivered directly to your inbox. WP Plugins A to Z is a show that offers honest and unbiased reviews of plugins created by developers because you support the show. Help keep the show honest and unbiased by going to wppluginsaToZ.com/donate and set the donation level that fits your budget. Help us make the show better for you by subscribing and reviewing the show at Stitcher Radio, Google Play, and in the iTunes Store. You can also leave us a review on our Facebook page using wppluginsaToZ.com/Facebook. You can also watch the show live on YouTube, check out the screencasts and training videos, and remember to subscribe and hit the bell to get notifications of all new videos. Follow the show on Twitter at WP Plugins A-Z. John can also be reached at his website, johnoverall.com, or email him directly, john@wppro.ca. Thanks for joining us and have a great day.
Thanks for listening to the show. This show is copyright by johnoverall.com. So until next time, have yourselves a good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you happen to be out there on the globe today.